Penn State is going to serve to begin this one. For the first time in a Big Ten regular season game, Penn State at Washington. An early swing for Emmy Selman. Now Markley against her former team. Kirsten Barton was their leading point scorer against Oregon as well. Barton took a whack at it, and something that Katie Wessels has been doing well lately, scoring more.
It's a pretty good first rally start off the game. I think it was highlighted by a lot of that Penn State defense. That's something Coach Katie Schumacher-Colley has said that has been a real focus for her team, is just making more plays and off to a hot start.
It's a left side swing for Kennedy Martin. That's a little cut shot from Barton to the floor.
This is a good little chip shot by Kirsten Barton. Not her normal big rip, but sometimes that's all you need. Catch the team a little off guard like she did on that one.
So Alexis Howry with another serve. Nice dig by Hurd, right back to Barton, who is dug by Jillian Grimes. Howry hits the deck. Out of system, Markley takes it over her shoulder. That's one setter ready for the other right there, and Markley going down the line, Grimes with the dig. Mendelson tips, another lengthy point. Barton a high swing, gets a touch, and Washington.
It's important to slow down that Penn State right side attack. We have Kennedy Martin on the right, and also Maggie Mendelson sometimes swinging off of two on the right. So going to be really important to just slow down offensive numbers from the right side.
You're the one that is scoring from the right side, Annie Drews, but how would you try and slow down someone that's as potent as Kennedy Martin?
You just gotta look at the trends on what they're doing in film. I'm sure that they've studied her a lot this week, and try and take away the shot that she's most comfortable with. Make her hit what she doesn't want to. That's how we typically force a few more errors out of our opponents. And I would funnel a lot to Zoria Hurd, the way she's been playing defense.
Good hitter coverage by the Huskies there. This is Martin.
Nice high swing there off the block. Good effort by the Huskies. Just short, but man, if this is what we're at before 5 points, we're gonna need some oxygen in here. We've seen some nice rallies from the jump.
Get that great Friday night crowd in Alaska Airlines Arena as well. Barton handles the serve and gets the attack. And Juravicius with a mishit out of system. Caroline Juravicius, who emerged as the season went along last year at right side and became a crucial player towards Penn State's NCAA championship, this year has to switch positions to outside.
Definitely not something easy to do, but when you have a player like Kennedy Martin, you make some space.
You have to do it.
You have to put your best players on the court, and Gervasius and Martin, for sure, both deserve to be on the court in some capacity, and Penn State's capitalizing on that.
That's a point for Maggie Mendelson, the Nebraska transfer in the middle. Of course, Martin came over as a transfer this year from Florida, transferred late in the process. She was the nation's leading point scorer last season. This year is number 2. Markley, big time swing, and what's that type of motivation would you imagine against her former team?
I can imagine the adrenaline is just pumping. You know, you can have so much respect for a team, you can leave on the best of terms, but it's got to be exciting just playing against your old program, your old coaches. But it is, like you said, AJ, a lot of new faces on this Penn State team.
Juravicius tries to take it down the line and misses. Now Markley, she was on the all Big Ten freshman team originally for Penn State. Saw her playing time decrease in recent seasons. She actually graduated from Penn State in 3 years and transferred to Washington as a grad transfer, but in her 4th year of eligibility as Martin is blocked. Washington getting to Kennedy Martin early with the rejection.
And blocking is one of the strengths of this Washington team. I will say I think this is maybe a swing she brought down a little low, but anything coming that far off the net, you'd like to see some coverage there by her teammates.
Another big wallop from Markley.
One thing I like about Markley swinging is she swings deep into the court. She's swinging for sidelines, for end lines. Never a bad idea.
Katie Schumacher-Cauley certainly aware of Markley heading into this one, saying that nobody knows her better than Katie, that Markley is a great blocker. They're going to be cognizant of that, but Coach Schumacher-Cauley, what a story. Last year, battling cancer, declared cancer-free more recently, but leading her team during that battle to a national championship. Just unbelievable. And inspirational as over the top, Simona Mateska, the freshman from Serbia, is down to the floor.
This is the second chip shot down the line we've seen score already this early for the Huskies. First one by Kirsten Barton. But when you have an opposite like Kennedy Martin in the back row for Penn State, you're going to maybe have her come up for tips so she can stay off the floor ready to swing, and that corner's going to be open.
A nice play by Ava Faldudo, the defensive specialist, but Hunt scores on the slide. In 2 years, she was an assistant coach, also played for the Huskies, just like Katie Schumacher-Cauley played for Penn State. Juravicius out of system. She has whiffed on a couple of those in the early going. And
they're really hard to locate where they're going to be, where they're going to land, and it's hard to get your feet there. So definitely a more challenging set, but if Penn State wants to...
#1 in the Big Ten in kills per set, points per set. And there's an ace from the Huskies running away.
Putting Juravicius back in the serving pattern.
5 straight for Washington and 9 of 10. Make it 10 of 11.
I think Penn State desperately needed that side out, and we see here if they can turn it around.
Just seems like Washington's been ready for every situation. Mateska with the kill.
You know, you're playing against the defending national champions. You're playing at home. Let's just be free. Let's have fun. And we're definitely seeing Washington capitalize on that right now. They just look a lot more relaxed.
You know, the many things that Penn State has had to go through this year, I'm sure one of them is they're getting everybody's best shot to serve. Assertive swing by Kirsten Barton, the junior from Chandler, Arizona.
Penn State was there early, digging that, and she's just moving the ball around really nicely.
Off to a 3-for-9 start to lead Washington in kills. Nobody for Penn State yet has more than 1 kill. That's a nice connection from Nittany Lions.
Penn State got in that lull with Mendelson out. They really have to capitalize when she's in the game and in that front row.
3-1 since then. Their only loss against Nebraska. So the Huskies playing well, coming in and continuing that against Kennedy Martin.
Okay, maybe they haven't had such a strong season, but losing to only ranked opponents is pretty impressive. And like we've talked about,
all their losses have come to teams above 500. All their wins have come to teams below 500 in Big Ten play. So this would be a big one for the Huskies against a ranked opponent, as Juravicius tips Howry, the sophomore setter. Back set to Barton, hitting right side in this rotation. Martin is roofed again. Washington has been ready for the reigning National Player of the Week. And
it's easy for a team that's good at blocking to capitalize in a situation like that.
Her numbers are up a little bit from last year. She was all-conference second team. This is a joust. The length of Mendelson winning that one, but Washington defends it. Second ball from Hurd. It's Markley. And on the tight dig, a little bit close to the net, became a difficult set for Lyon.
You know, that's not how volleyball is played. You can't play that way for 2.5 hours, but man, when you've got it, ride it.
I didn't realize this was going 2.5 hours.
Well,
has won 3 in a row coming in. They were looking as good as anybody coming into this match, but
I like that she's swinging high. Penn State is a really tall team, and that's the error you want to make if you're going up against girls who are 6'4", 6'5". You want to swing deep and out the back of the court.
Great dig by Zoria Hurd. Wasn't as good a touch there, but get it to Mateska, who has a nice swing off the block and out.
5 blocker, but we see her just coming into that swing with a lot more confidence.
It feels like Washington is funneling their defense well to Hurd.
I mean, when you're wrist down like that, wrist away from the ball, it's hard to get defenders there when you can cut it that sharp.
Off the antenna from Martin.
And I think if you're Penn State at this point, it's really about just regrouping. It's not about one skill or one player. It's just how do we take a collective breath and reset for set 2, because there's a lot of game left.
Nice set against the flow, and Markley off the edge. Washington more than doubles up Penn State in the first.
Due to time constraints, we now move ahead in the action.
Speaking of former Huskies, just saw some looks at the 2005 team, some members of that team who are going to be honored tomorrow night officially. Tonight is just the general alumni night at the University of Washington.
You can just see the loyalty for this team, and this program runs pretty deep, from head coach Gabriel being here 22 years.
Be a part of that anniversary celebration tomorrow for the 2005 National Championship team, the lone national title in program history led by Jim McLaughlin. The University of Washington is going to join us at the start of the third set as we examine.
After review, there was a touch on the defender. Washington will retain their challenge.
But that's not how it works. There's cameras. There's way better systems in place besides just
some higher levels. So at the international level, I know has some more limitations.
Absolutely.
That's an ace serve, though, sorely needed.
And servers, you know, they throw it real high and they spin it around. This is a hybrid. It's a float.
How do you try and create enough space for her and keep her fresh as well?
You know, Katie Schumacher-Colley said she'll take 100 swings if she has to, but that's something they've had to work on. They've had to manage, and they've had to really work with.
With the kill by Mateska, that timeout paid off for the Huskies. Key side out. Grimes takes the second ball, gives it to Martin out of system. Washington defends it, and it is hot right to the middle.
Over into that no man's land, and it's really hard to know whose ball that is or to time it and get that up.
Now, is that a little bit of offense by accident there? Nice dig by Hurd. I'm gonna ask you a follow-up there. Big point for the Huskies, though, as Barton hits the floor.
All levels of volleyball aren't calling as much as they used to, but on your way down, you almost have to fluff it. Karchker, I would call it a low-calorie solution. Really sell it and then just kind of drop your hand and let it wisp off of it and let it just fall right over those blockers.
By the way, sign me up for as many Karch-isms as you want to incorporate in the broadcast. That one is off the sideline, a miss from Barton.
But he has his Karchisms, his things that he repeats often, but he repeats them often because they're important and they're timeless and they work. Even now watching stuff, I find myself repeating little things I've heard thousands of times.
In her debut last week at University of Oregon on the Big Ten Network commentary team. We'll also see you tomorrow when Penn State takes on Oregon in Eugene.
Fortunately, it's just errors for Penn State. That puts them almost at 20 errors for the match if you count reception errors as well. And it's hard to win a game to 25 when you're dealing with a double-digit error number.
His 5th set appearance of the season.
But this is something Katie Schumacher-Colley talked about, is confidence in her littles, is what she said, or her defensive specialists, the people who sub in to make a defensive or serve reception difference. And she said that they're really kind of the backbone of the team at the moment. They're just keeping Penn State alive.
Oh, traffic jam. Been that type of night for Penn State.
A lot of people, but Katie Schumacher-Cauley said she's proud of this team, and she really thinks everyone is stepping up and everyone is capable to contribute.
But a team that's playing well coming in Penn State, and Washington has summarily dismissed Penn State from the first couple of sets. Go for a reverse sweep would be its best hope. Barton was dug by Jocelyn Nathan. Alexis Ewing got put in a tough spot tight to the net. Back to Barton, one-handed attempt. It's going to go out, and Kirsten Barton delivers.
Due to time constraints, we now move ahead in the action.
Hitting 389 in set 3 is just, quite a contrast from negative in set 1 and just above 0 in set 2. This is what they're going to need if they're going to try and reverse sweep a team who's been really in flow tonight at home.
All the way across, and that goes out. So that means a kill for Juravicius, who is nervously probably eyeing that ball all the way across the net.
It's rare that those ones go out, and it feels like they're in the air forever. Juravicius taking that off the blocker's hand, but it travels across the court to go wide on the other side. I like that she's playing with a lot of composure. She's hitting just about 0, hasn't had her best offensive performance tonight, but she's, I think, kind of leading the charge with just what it looks like to play big in an unideal moment.
Behind the line, it's Markley with her 11th on 19 swings.
What a night for Markley. Alexa Markley, opposite transfer from Penn State. And Courtney kind of mentioned, I don't know if there's a lot of emotions that go into it or not, but I think there's more emotions just playing in front of your home crowd and being in flow. I think that probably is more of what Markley's feeling than any feelings toward Penn State.
You've used that word a couple of times recently, or that phrase. Almost, I think you're referring to that flow state. I'm curious about that. Big swing from Barton.
Flow state is just when it's relatively self-explanatory. You just feel in flow. You feel like your timing's good, your decisions are there, your eyes are there. But one thing we talked about a lot with the national team was very, very little of your matches and your championships and your best team performances happen when people are in flow. It's rare to have a player feel it individually, and it's rare to have a group of players all feeling it at once. So it's kind of, how do you win despite not always feeling in flow? But I will say, if there's a night for Washington to be in flow, it definitely looks like tonight. It feels like a lot of people are feeling pretty comfortable.
This matches the description now. You even referenced it, that it, however, despite all of that, what we just said, is maybe not sustainable for an entire match. And Penn State giving Washington more of a battle in the third set. Excellent defense with Washington on the free ball. Juravicius with a big cut. It's just long.
I think it's important to point out, this is a much tighter set. There's been a lot of lead changes, kind of neck and neck, but that doesn't mean Washington is playing bad at all. They're still maintaining a really high level, hitting over 250 as a team. But we're just seeing Penn State do more of the Penn State type things. They're making big plays, they're putting more balls down, kind of settling in. So it's more of a reflection of Penn State coming alive than it.
10:30 Eastern time tomorrow night in Eugene. Should be a fun one as well. But first things first, Penn State trying to scrap and stay alive here in the third set. Got blown out in the first 2 sets. They have tied this third set at 18.
I've said it before on this broadcast. Some swings that you take as a hitter are kind of like, if you don't know, they don't know. And I think that was a good example of that. You even see Penn State kind of cheering after, like, I didn't know how that was going to go, but if you don't know how it's going to go, your opponents certainly don't know how to block it.
I like that. I was going to tell you last broadcast that I like that as a catchphrase for you. I like the potential there, so So keep it coming.
Put a bookmark in it.
Yep. That's a slide kill for Katie Wessels, a junior captain from Lewiston, Idaho.
It's a nice slide by Katie Wessels. They've used Markley so much tonight that we haven't seen as much slide, and I think that that's a nice thing to mix in. Just giving that left side blocker for Penn State something different to look at and trying to track to block it.
Also credit to their sophomore setter, Alexis Howery, her 28th assist. She was struggling with her location earlier in the season. Coach Gabriel thinks she's been a lot better lately. And she is over 10 assists per set over the last few matches in each of them. And on that pace once again today. Oh, look at that, to just swat that in play from Jordan Hott. Zoria Hurd, who has 18 digs for Washington, had the second ball. Penn State playing good defense, nearly grazed the scoreboard there off of that dig. Barton, big cross-court swing. Grimes does a split with that dig. Down the line, Selman, the sophomore. Ohio State transfer Emmy Selman making her mark on that point offensively.
An aggressive end to a long rally, and Penn State the score is tight, but it seems like the way that they're kind of coming into this match now, they're kind of just now blossoming. I feel like they might be in the driver's seat here a little bit.
Markley from the left side. Martin gets down there for the dig. Back to Selman, going super high with that swing. And missing over the top. Selman has been error-prone as well in this one. That's something Penn State's really battled as a team. Lately, Selman's continued to play because she's been a stabilizing force as a passer for Penn State, but she has struggled at times with offensive efficiency. There she is making the pass. That wasn't great. Pass to attack, though. Dug by Hurd. Mateska with the swing. Penn State controls the ball here. Martin on the D-attack. In the middle, Wessels tips. Penn State was scouting a lot of those throws and tips from her this week, and Selman puts it away.
I'm going to throw back a name here. You may or may not know, AJ, but maybe some of our viewers will. Selman moves a little bit to me like Allie Franti. She was a Penn State All-American, I believe the Big Ten freshman, or sorry, the NCAA Freshman of the Year when they won the Natty. I'm just seeing some similarities. I think the way she's transitioning and loading up on her block and taking some just big, nice, high swings, going for hands or deep of the court.
That's a miss serve in a big spot from the serving sub, Lexi Jim. By the way, during that previous point, Zoria Hurd picked up her 19th dig. That is a Washington career high. And her season high this year. At one point, she played for Texas A&M Corpus Christi and went over 20. Back set. Markley has been the hot hand most of the night for the Huskies. Now Mateska cannot convert, so it's tied at 21.
We're talking about Zoria Hurd, and one thing I like about the way she plays volleyball, you can just tell she's playing like a veteran. She's stepping into spots that you can just tell she knows where the ball's gonna be. She's kind of a quiet libero. I think you see some who make these flashy big plays, and then you see some who are just really calm, and I think that's her. It shows signs of a veteran.
Sure, it was a confidence booster for Hurd when she had a season-high 18 digs in a 3-set match against Nebraska. She now has surpassed that tonight. That's a kill from Hunt at an important time. Washington, how about this moment for Markley? Can they score a point on her serve? Played 3 years for Penn State. Washington is in this point, but Penn State has a chance. Martin, the National Player of the Week, ties it at 22. The All-American Kennedy Martin for Penn State.
I don't know the exact number, but I would say in the red zone, meaning we say the red zone when you're past 20 points. And having both teams in the red zone, I think you go to Kennedy Martin 9 out of 10 times.
Professionally in one sport or another. Couple of notables, Ruvel Martin for Kennedy Martin's dad for Penn State, played with the Seahawks for a season after maybe more known for his time with the Packers. And of course, Patrick Ewing, definitely known for his New York Knicks days, but played a year with the Sonics in Seattle. But it's set point now. Penn State has a chance to extend the match. Washington stays alive in the third set. Throughout most of the roster, but Penn State down big in those first two sets. Another set point. Mateska gets it in play and picks up the dig. Washington could send it to deuce. Penn State gets a block touch. Martin ends the third set and extends the match to a fourth.
Due to time constraints, we now move ahead in the action.
Kind of given that long leash to be like, hey, you're not going to be on every night, but we want you going for the ball. Like, don't back off. And I think she's done a nice job of doing that. She's still going 100% on these swings.
Will recycle by Mateska. Now Markley behind the attack line. It's Martin. Healthy block touch. Hurd lofts it up for Mateska. Well, she comes through with some timely swings and some veteran-looking swings.
Someone other than your setter. In this case, Zoria Hurd. We want it to be high. We want it to be on the net and a little bit inside. And she executed that beautifully.
Mateska hitting 471. A career night for Zoria Hurd with that diving play, but it's terminated by Caroline Juravicious.
This team, it's her senior year. She wants to go out with a bang, and she's someone the team really looks on to kind of lovingly call people out and hold them accountable. And I think she's just leading this team really beautifully tonight. Lead the Washington setter at middle when there's such a height discrepancy, and she took advantage and just went right in that seam. Had a big lead at the beginning, and now we're neck and neck again, seeing a lot of lead changes as we did in the third as well.
Hurd doing everything she can.
Has inches to play with to try and bring that back, but the fact that she got there shows a lot about her speed, her athleticism. Washington's done a nice job in out-of-system situations, so they don't need a perfect pass. But man, when they get one, they'll capitalize. That was beautiful.
Who is hitting 229 with 9 kills, 2 service aces. Back set, hop, it dances atop the tape. Loading up, Barton, an athletic play to snap that swing off. Now it's a one-handed dig, but there's a whistle on the swing by Selman. Washington was in the net before.
See how it ended.
There will not be a 15-point timeout as Barton scores because there's already been a team timeout. Getting better defensively. She is leading a more efficient offense lately. Washington is 4th in the conference during lead play.
A really fast set to her. It's quick to the pin. It's not getting much higher than the antenna. So she gets a lot of clean looks.
Still had a nice night. Serving specialist Jin with the serve. Markley, that'll work.
That's really tough to get a defender behind.
It worked out for her even without the totally clean contact. Right in the pocket for her, digging Martin. Lions sets Martin, rolls it over. Hurd, this out-of-system swing for Markley. Pancake grinds. Who is over 20 digs for Penn State. Barton just handles that dig. Hurd, another nice out-of-system delivery there, given where she was on the court, but Martin is able to convert.
It's risky, but I think that could pay off and just get Penn State a little more out of sorts. Which you can challenge, but you don't see that call as much as a block touch call.
They decide not to challenge. Penn State trying to drag this to the 5th set now. Just were able to win that 3rd set. Now taking some control in the 4th.
Let's see, maybe she cuts this inside here. She actually cuts this inside of the middle blocker. The block's pretty well formed, leaving that space for Zoria Hurd to dig it, but just came in fast.
Good response from Mateska. By the way, Nittany Lions up to 37 assists for Penn State. Transferred in most recently from St. Louis University. Certainly didn't envision that she was going to be starting for Penn State. She played previously in a 6-2 system at St. Louis, and you know, Coach Schumacher-Cawley thinks that she's improving and has been a little bit overlooked lately how much she's improved.
And being part of a 6-2 system versus what we're seeing tonight, which would be a 5-1 system. 6-2 means you typically run it with smaller setters, and they're pretty much playing back row. And then when it's time for them to play front row, you sub in a hitter.
They were hoping to leave a little bit earlier because they were hoping for a Washington early win. Penn State was able to eke out the third set and now has taken charge in the fourth.
You never want to miss a serve out of a timeout, but also when you're up 20-15 and you kind of have the momentum in your favor, it's a good time to be aggressive.
Kennedy Martin with kill number 12.
12 kills is a very respectable number, but if you've watched Kennedy Martin up to this point this season, it feels quite low. She's often in the 20s, 20 to 30 points, hitting at a much higher clip, but she's definitely turning it on as it gets later in the game, and that's dangerous for an opponent when people are heating up just at the right time. You want to be good in set 1, but you need to be good in set 4 and 5.
This Penn State offense is turned on as a group, turning Juravicius loose a little bit. Both her and Martin have passed double figures. To your point about Martin, she's been 20 plus in 3 straight matches in 4 out of 5. Still has some time to get there, I suppose, with the 5th set seemingly coming. Howery Mateska throws it down.
This is something I think we saw Washington use early in set 1. They had more chip shots to the line, maybe not necessarily throws, but you can see Kennedy Martin is at almost the 10-foot line there, kind of ready to take a tip. Maybe she sees that tip coming, but then Mateska just throws it right over her, and there's no one there in a system that's shifting like that.
That's out. It feels like that balloon got popped at some point for Washington. A little deflating recently. How do you take a deep breath and re-inflate the rest of the way for the Huskies?
It's tough when a team has kind of been edging in front of you for 2 sets, but I think honestly in set 4, more than confidence, it's energy, right? Like, this has been a long match and we've seen some long rallies. How do you sustain and try and squeak this out, but also know if you don't squeak this out and you're depleted in set 5, you know, that's also a tough place to be. So this mid-set 4 is kind of when you start to see, like, okay, you know, it's been a lot of game and there's still kind of a lot of game left potentially. How do we manage and still work hard?
Gonna need to sort that out going into the 5th right now. All the good mojo with Penn State. Huskies will take that. Selman with an error. That was the big problem for Penn State early. Even so much that even still, Washington out-hitting Penn State 287 to 164 by over 100 points, yet it's Penn State with the complete momentum, looking like this is heading to a 5th set. Set Barton. Maybe not so fast. Washington back within 3.
That's that nice fast speed that we see. She is up and hanging by the time this ball gets to where it's supposed to go. And it's just, it's poetry in action, AJ. Like, when people can run at this kind of speed, you're gonna get a lot of wide open looks.
Julia Hunt, one of the better servers for Washington, causing trouble. Brilliant play. I mean, you think about Kennedy Martin, you think power, but how about that?
Well played, definitely the right decision on a high out-of-system set that's a little behind you. That's something that, you know, Washington's talked about working on eye work. You need to ID that sooner. Kennedy Martin's in an unideal situation, maybe in a little bit of trouble, and you got to kind of step up knowing she can't take a full swing on that ball.
Howery does well on that overpass. Big piece of the net. Martin. Oh, she was on the floor for that swing. Washington reloads. Martin digs it. What a point by Kennedy Martin. Wessels with the misfire, and it's Kennedy Martin sending Penn State on to the 5th set, all tied at 2.
Yeah, Jaravicious took some really nice swings too, some momentum shifters, I would say, as well. And I think right now, Penn State, yes, they are a higher error. They have 27 attack errors to Washington's 11, but they have more kills. Maybe this is the right thing. And also, a good time to call a challenge is when your players are confident that the score will be overturned. And it looks like from what we're seeing here, I'd say that's pretty convincing.
There was a touch on the block. Washington will retain their challenge.
First point of the 5th set, and then Hunt showed them something serving, I think, late in the 4th. And now it's 2-0.
I love that. Julia Hunt, middle blocker for Washington, back to serve. And this is one of their 3 captains they have as only a sophomore, and I love how she's leading the charge here just with confidence out of the gate in set 5.
Penn State sides out. Jordan Hopp from the right side of the court. Washington has outblocked Penn State 6-2. Just 2 stuff blocks as a team for Penn State. That was something that changed, though, from early on. Washington was controlling the play at the net early. A lot of those Penn State hitting errors were times when they got stuffed. Hasn't been as much the case recently. Hopp, service error.
It definitely feels like we haven't seen a lot of stuff blocks as the game's gone on. It felt like, part of that serendipitous flow that Washington was in set 1 and 2 included some pretty big stuffs, but it's normally a big skill for the Huskies. It's been a little quiet tonight.
And as good as the middles have been offensively for Penn State, that's been a problem all year for them. They're last in the conference in blocks per set.
Which is surprising for their size, but when you have hitters who are putting up these numbers, maybe your focus is just more looking at the game offensively.
Great hitter coverage moment for Penn State there. That prevented a stuff block. Hurd takes a second ball, sautés it over for Kirsten Barton. There's the stuff block.
Put them over, and Washington just goes straight over and blocks that with authority.
Offensively, though, the middles have been there. Maggie Mendelson, team high 382 this season. The efficiency has ticked down a little bit as the night has gone along, but that is her 10th kill.
And when they needed it, too. I've always thought points after 20 and points in the 5th set, it almost seems like they count for double because it's a shorter race to the finish line. So getting them even that 1 point closer to Washington's 4 is important.
Barton does that for the Huskies. This year, Washington is just 1-3 in 5-set matches. They have not played a 5-set match in Big Ten. Interesting thing for the Huskies, they, before this one, had played 10 of their 16 matches this season in 3 sets. They have not gone deep a lot this year. Penn State is 4-1 in the 5th set, and Kennedy Martin averages 4.2 kills per set in the 5th. She has been incredible. The Huskies, though, have taken the early edge, 6-2. The attack error by Mendelson. It's a big early edge in a set to 15, but there is Martin. What makes her so good as the match goes along?
I think she's just found some rhythm. It seemed like she's connecting a lot better with the setter and maybe starting her approach at a more appropriate time. I felt like I saw her a lot early in the game, like starting her approach and then slowing it down or rushing those last 2 steps because she thought she had more time. And you know, you want a rhythmic approach, and when you can get that and the ball's still in front of you, you've got great vision to put a ball away.
Logs another one, and Penn State was just down 6-2. All of a sudden, it's 6-4. Cut that lead in half.
This is kind of the temptation as a middle blocker. Katie Wessel's one of the top 5 blockers in the Big Ten. She's working so hard to close that block that she almost kind of floats past it and opens something up. It's easy to do, it's hard to correct, but she's an excellent blocker nonetheless.
13th kill for Alexa Markley, a national champion last year with Penn State. It is also a double-double, her second of the season. Has 11 digs, but this was a big swing.
Excellent swing.
In the net for Zoria Hurd. Washington also getting a double-double from Simona Mateska, her third in recent matches. Mateska, 11 kills, 14 digs, hitting .435. For Penn State, Kennedy Martin struggled early, but now is up to 16 kills on 123 percentage. Juravicius, 12 kills. Mendelson and Hopp have been pretty good offensively in the middle with a combined 18 kills. This is Martin. And Barton with the dig. Mateska to the ground.
I love that swing. I love that trust. Crowds on their feet here.
Markley improving on that double-double. As is Mateska with her 13th kill. It's remarkable when you think about how easy it could be to drop a few matches at some point and fall out of the rankings. It has never happened for Penn State since before we were both born. And Penn State with the block right there to try and get back into this after the Katie Schumacher-Cauley timeout.
Huge block and very, very timely. 6'9", I mean, there's still time, right? If that point would have gone the other way, you start thinking, oh boy, it's, you know, when one team's in double digits, it's a little bit of that red zone, and it becomes much harder. Washington gives it right back. That's impressive.
We were looking for some stuff blocks. We got them in the 5th set.
We did, and the fans love that one. I think we've got a lot of people on their feet. And I've always said I feel like a stuff block, it feels like it should be worth 2 points. In the 5th set, it emotionally does feel like 2 points.
8th Washington block as a team. Penn State has 3. Oh, that's the libero. Grimes with the kill. Oh, get out of here. Jillian Grimes was forced into that after Lions set her inadvertently. And the junior libero gets it done off the tape.
And this is unlucky on so many accounts, but also it's more common than you think. I mean, Alexis Howry's kind of thinking, okay, this is a free ball. I can release to get ready to set. Someone will take this. And then it kind of falls where she typically would be. It's unfortunate and it looks ugly, but it's actually pretty common.
But there have been some really poorly timed missed serves for Penn State. That was Jocelyn Nathan with the team's 16th service error. That's just too many. I know you want to serve aggressive, but too many service errors for Penn State at key times. Julia Hunt to serve.
And Washington's kind of an offense, you know where the ball's gonna go, so you almost like, do you just keep it in play, right? They don't use their middles a ton, they're working on using them more, and when they do use them, they're quite effective. But it seems like this could be a good team to dial back those service errors and just kind of make them play.
And a 5th set change, it's a great point. And I hear that. I want to also point out Gabrielle Nichols is in there. I want to give her a mention. Middle blocker for Penn State here in the 5th.
What's interesting when they put Gabrielle Nichols in, they did this against Wisconsin as well, they've done it a few times this year, is they're playing now without a setter on the floor. Am I seeing that correctly? So they do it for a blocking sub, and they essentially have 2 middles on the floor now, but they're going to just assume they're for sure going to be out of system. But it's a nice way to get a bigger block.
So Mendelson's playing right side. She just takes that set, and it's working for Penn State with the blocking sub in.
You get a middle who can serve, who can pass, who can set.
valuable.
Another killer missed serve coming off a timeout by Jordan Hopp. And now Grimes will come back in at libero, and so will Lyon at setter as Penn State goes into serve-receive mode against Alexis Howery, the sophomore former Oregon back-to-back Gatorade Player of the Year. Martin, she likes to run that route behind the attack line from the middle, but with a key miss late.
We'll see what they see. I've been wrong all night.
Oh man, it is going to be successful. And then took the first 2 sets both in blowouts. Penn State's come all the way back, looking for the reverse sweep, but Washington has had the control in the 5th. And it's been Markley. Now her 14th kill matched up with Barton for the team lead. Markley setting the tone against her former team in her first reunion battle with Penn State most of this night. Key moment for that.
And this is just such a high swing. Like, I am 6'4", and swinging against 6'4" and 6'5" blockers is uncomfortable, and she's making it look easy. Very confident.
Unbelievable play. It looked really difficult for Wessels to get that over, and Markley sends it down. Match point.
Piggybacked this line judge as she's walking across.
Maggie Mendelson extends the match. Penn State now needs 2 points on its serve to send it to deuce.
Beautiful clean side out here, just past that swing. And this is all you can do at this point is simple volleyball that you know you can execute at a high level. And that's what Penn State did.
5-set classic in Seattle. Overpass, Mendelson scores, and Penn State within 1.
Certainly Penn State has had a few more hitting errors tonight for sure.
17 service errors. Need this one to be in. That's what Faldudo does. Pass by Hurd. Markley is the one who ends it. It just makes sense that Alexa Markley scores the winning point against Penn State. Washington in 5.
I love that Howery went to her on-game point. What an unbelievable match for Alexa Markley. Not just against her alma mater, but just in general, right? Like as a grad student, you know, a senior, whatever, as a veteran player,